going to teach how to make Space Mickey. Enjoy.
So I've got some white Saraceno, and we're just going to cut a circle into half, so we've got 2 equal sides, and these are going to be the feet. So we're going to teardrop it a little bit, and then we're just going to mark along the bottom, just like the sole of the shoe, just very gently going all the way around. And you're going to do that with the other shoe as well. We kind of want the top bit at the front to be kind of, I think, bulbous is the word I'm probably looking for. So the teardrop needs to taper down, and then that's just going to give us that shape that he has for his shoe. So I did try to find a couple of images of Mickey in a spacesuit, and I did struggle to find something similar. So I've just kind of winged this a little bit, what I envisaged Mickey Mouse to look like in a spacesuit. So again, just going around the bottom of the second foot, trying to get them roughly the same size, and just smoothing out any lumps or bumps. And then with a ball tool, we're just going to go in through the top on the slimmer end, and this is just going to be where we insert our legs later on. So pop them to one side just to firm up a little bit. And then we're going to roll a sausage that's thicker in the middle and thinner either side. And then we're just going to cut that in half. And this is going to give us our legs. So just squashing it down a little bit. Same with the other one, trying to get them roughly the same sort of like thickness. And then we're just going to cut off at an angle on either leg, and this is just so that it will attach to our body a little bit easier. We're going to pop a kebab skewer through the middle, so you want to push it through and then just gently twist it to get it in. And then I'm just going to use this sort of like plastic knife thing that I've got just to push it down, so I'm not distorting the shape too much. So it should be something like that. And then we're just going to pop it on to our foot. And then I've just got a small polystyrene dummy that I'm going to store this on. So like that. And then we're going to do the same for the other side, for the other foot. But what you want to do is you want to roll sort of like a thin sausage. We're going to flatten it slightly, and we're just going to wrap it around the ankle. I guess this is similar to how Mickey has his own shoes, and I've just kind of kept it all white to kind of mimic the spacesuit kind of look. And that's what it should look like with both feet. And then I've got another larger teardrop shape, and I'm just tapering it to a point, chopping off the end, and this is going to form our body. So I'm just checking it for size, and I'm going to pinch in. That's just where I want the legs to go. And we're going to slide it on those cocktail sticks that are sticking out for the legs. So I haven't got a cocktail stick that runs all the way through the body. I've just kind of got the 2 for the legs that go kind of halfway in the body. And then I will stick one through the middle for the head. And I'm just pushing this shape down onto the legs. Just using a little bit of water if needed to stick them together, and I'm just using my Dresden tool just to kind of push the leg up and the body down slightly, so I've got a nice join. So you can see there I've got a little bit of a gap, so I'm just using a little bit of water, and then I'm just using that tool just to pull it down. Now we're not trying to get rid of the line because the suit would have lines there anyway. So next I've got a 1-inch polystyrene ball, and we're just going to flatten that, keeping the bulk of the colour in the middle and just making the edges a bit thinner. And then just wetting it with a little bit of water, and we're going to pop our polystyrene ball in the middle of that, and then just roll it until we've got a ball. Now I do this so it makes the head a little bit lighter. And then I've just got some skin tone paste, and I'm going to cut out a heart. Now it's a little bit small, this heart, so I'm just going over it with my fingers, as you can see, just making it a little bit bigger and just spreading out that shape. So you can see on one side I've gone a little bit too far out, so I'm just going to use this sort of like plastic knife just to bring it in back into the shape that I need it to be. And then we're just going to pop this on top of our face, like so, and just using your Dresden tool if needed to pull it back into place. Next, I've got sort of like another sausage that's pointy on either side, and this is going to form our mouth. So we're going to flatten the edges slightly, and we kind of want to build up that little bit in the middle so that his nose comes out. So I'm kind of just making a line at the bottom. This is where the mouth's going to go, and I'm just using my fingers to push in slightly on either side. We're going to put a dip in either side on the top there, and that's just going to bring out his cheeks up a little bit. And so you can see I'm just kind of teasing that bit in the middle just up slightly. And I do apologise if you can hear my children in the background. It's a day at home for us today. And so we're just going to pop that on. Now I've not used any water to stick this on. It should just be fine to put on as it is. And then I've just got a little bit of black in the middle there. And so you can see I'm just starting to shape in now. I've got like a silicone rubber tipped tool, and I'm just pushing in and sort of really making that bit at the front stand out a little bit. And I'm just smoothing over it with my fingers so you can see it comes out a little bit at the front. And I'm just not blending, but just trying to make sure that the lines around the face are just a little bit neater. Again, just using the pointy side of the Dresden tool and just redefining that line where the nose part is going to be. I'm going to draw in a mouth, so a nice big smile for Mickey, and just using the wider side of the Dresden tool to put in the sides of the mouth. And then a nice big circle there for his nose. I'm just re-going over that smile line. And then a little sausage for his nose. And just always check it against the size of the figure that you've got to make sure that it's going to fit. And I've just re-gone over that with the scriber needle just to make that line a little bit more defined. So again, with the Dresden tool, we're going to go in along the bottom and we're just going to pull out that bottom lip slightly. And we're going to fill this with fondant in a bit. And just re-going over that smile. So you can see it's starting to look a bit more like Mickey now. So we're going to trim off the excess of the body just to make it flat. And then I've got some white fondant and we're just going to roll some teardrops and flatten them out. And these are going to be the bits for the eyes, the white bits of the eyes. So try to get them roughly the same size. And then we're just going to flatten those out. So he's got quite long, tall eyes. So I've just used a little bit of water to stick these on. And they are quite close together, his eyes. And I'm just again using the Dresden tool just to flatten and shape. The good thing about putting the white bits on is that you can pull it into shape. You can pull it out and make it smaller. It's just a little bit easier to get them both symmetrical then. Trim off any excess if needed. And again, just tapering it in at the bottom, because they sort of like round off at the bottom, joining on to the nose. And then once you've done that, we're going to repeat the same process, but this time in black and a lot smaller. And this is just going to be the colour of his eyes. Now I've got him looking slightly to one side, so I've just off-centered the eyes a little bit. And again, you can see the size of the black that I had there, and I've really sort of like stretched it out to fill the area a little bit more. I like to do it like this because it means that it's super flat, so that when you look at the figure from the side, you don't kind of have that step for the eyes. So just using your Dresden tool to get them roughly the same size. And then just with the reflectors of the eye, some tiny white dots, like so. Next we're going to go in and just fill in that mouth area. So I've got some dark pink colour. I think this was the Claret Sugar Flare colour that I used. And I've just put in a little bit of a sausage, and then I'm just using my Dresden tool just to pull those out and down to kind of like fill that space. Again, you don't want something too big. It kind of needs to be quite thin, and just with the Dresden tool you should be able to make it fit. And then I've just got a bit of a lighter pink, and again I've rolled out a bit of a sausage, and I'm going to flatten that just ever so slightly with the Dresden tool. And then I'm just going to put in a line sort of to the slightly away from the centre, coming on a bit of a diagonal, and that's just going to give us our tongue like that. And so we're going to pop this on with another kebab skewer, and that's what we should have so far. So now we're going to make his helmet. So similar process as to when we covered the polystyrene ball, but you can see that I've just rolled one edge on the table there. That's going to be the bit that I want slightly thicker. So the bit that's going to attach to the front of the head, I kind of want to be quite thick, and I want the rest to be quite thin so it's shaped to the head properly. So I'm just checking it for size, and I'm just teasing it out with my fingers, just making it as big as I need it to go. Making sure that I've got that thicker end that sits at the front. And then once you're happy with the size, I'm just going to trim off the base so that it doesn't hang over the neck. I'm being mindful to thicken sort of like the sides as well. And then we're just going to pop that on the head, and you're just using the palms of your hands just to shape that to the back of the head, like so. Now it was at this point that I decided that he needed a little bit of a neck, so instead of adding one around, I decided to roll out a little piece of fondant and just flatten it, and then just add that to his body like so, and then put the head on top again, just pushing it down so it's like that. And then what we need to do is we're just going to chop out some little rectangles and then angle the top off slightly, and we're just going to attach these to the sides of the face to make it kind of look like Mickey's helmet is coming down and around. So I've just added the strips of fondant. I find this much easier way to do than to try to get this shape in the first instance. And I'm just using the Dresden tool to smooth over the lines. So you can add a little bit of water to it, which makes it again easier to blend. And I'm just pulling it away from the face. So I don't want it to sort of like wrap around the face. I want it to come out ever so slightly just around the bottom. And I'm just smoothing it over just to get it to join nicely. So you're going to do that with the other side as well, and then we're just going to roll a series of circles and stack these on top of each other, and these are just going to be decoration for the hat. We're going to cut out a line of fondant, kind of like a long rectangle, trim off the edges to make it neat, And this is going to just be to decorate the top of the hat. So just a little bit of water for that strip to go down the middle. And then we're just going to stick on the little circles that we added, and then 2 more to the top. And then a cocktail stick, I've just cut it in half, and we're going to put this in to the head. And this is just what I'm using to attach the ears to. So just to push them on with a little bit of water. Same with the other side. Like that. And next, once you've done that, we're going to work on the arms. Similar process to the legs. So a sausage that's slightly thinner on either side. We're going to cut it in the middle and flatten the rounded side. And then for the hand, we're going to roll sort of like a circle, and we're going to flatten it into an oval shape. We're going to cut out a little triangle for the thumb, like so, and then we're just going to divide the rest into 3, so just 2 little cuts for his hand, and we're just going to pull those out and round them off at the top to create the fingers. Now they don't have to be too slim, because if you look at his hands, he's usually wearing gloves. And so I'm just smoothing them over and just rounding them off, like so. And then with a scriber needle, we're just going to create some indentations just to make the fingers bend a little bit easier. Some little lines in the middle for the decoration of the hat. And then the ball tool just to create a dip so that we can join our hand into that. I'm just going to use the scriber needle to pull down the fingers a little bit. And then with a cocktail stick, we're going to insert the arm onto the body. And then you could add some shape to the arm, so you can add a little creasing for the elbow, and you can position it slightly so it looks like it's bending a little bit. And then another little cocktail stick just in the end. So I've just divided a cocktail stick into, say, like 4 pieces. I've got a tiny little bit there, and this is just going to support the hand, really. Doesn't need to be too long. I'm just creating a little bit of a palm there in the hand. And then a little bit of water, and we're just going to push that on into place. Now you shouldn't have to prop this up or anything, it should just be fine as it is. And then a little thin sausage just to wrap around the wrists, like so. And then I've got some grey fondant, and I'm just going to cut it into some thin strips, and then I'm just going to use the knife to texturize the strips that I've made. So I'm just pressing ever so lightly all the way down, and that's just going to give us sort of like a ribbed effect on the fondant. And then we're just going to use this to decorate the spacesuit. So I've just got a strip around the middle, and that's going to create his belt, like so. And then I've just got some black ovals, and I'm just going to put these on the front, similar to how he has his shorts, but I'm just doing them in black for the spacesuit. And we're just going to stick those on with a little bit of water. And then I'm going to do some straps from that belt in the middle, like so, just sticking it on with a little bit of water and trimming it off. Like so. And then I've just got some red, and I'm going to do the same thing again, just thinner this time, and I'm just going to use this to wrap around the legs and around the arms. So I just want 2 strips on each leg and each arm, just going around like that. There's 1, and there's 2, and that's what it should look like when we've done that. And then I've just rolled a little other sausage, a thinner sausage, and I'm just going to add an extra ring around his wrists, like so, just slightly thinner than the main one that's there. Just using your Dresden tool if needed. And when you've finished, you should have something that looks like this. I've just dusted him with just a little bit of black, just to give it a bit of a one look. And this is the cake that I put it on.
I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please click the links on the screen now. Watch more of my videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Love you guys, thank you.